Okay, Leo, I'm definitely being shown someone, something, maybe more than one person being eclipsed out. Okay, we have these 2 eclipses, Mercury retrograde. This could be somebody coming back from the past to remind you that there's still some energy lingering there, and then they need to be eclipsed all the way out again. The message for you is this: let it happen and let go. There's something that's being brought to completion now once we step into Leo season. Honestly, there's more light around August than July, but some of you are going to feel this a little bit sooner. Leo, we've been talking about this. This doesn't just pertain to love, but for some of you, it's romantic partnerships, it's old heartbreaks and traumas. There could be some current partners, and feeling current partners too, that you may be allowing a relationship to linger. It's not bad, but it's also not the love of your life. This person isn't the love of your life. A little bit of a lack of chemistry. It's time for certain people to be eclipsed out. You may not have to make that decision all alone. Some people may just sort of drift away, kind of just run with that energy, Leo. The message is that once you step into your season, and universe has been working up to this for quite some time. Again, we've been talking about this for months. There's a breakthrough that comes through for you, Leo. So even if this is a little bit uncomfortable, it doesn't feel like you can't handle it, though. I don't see you struggling with people eclipsing out as much as I felt that struggle with other signs. I think you know. I think you feel that there's a different energy coming in here. Something's coming to a head. Really feels major for you, Leo. For some of you, that's in love. For others of you, that's career. But you need to make space for it, okay? So someone takes a step away from you, or you choose, okay, it's just time. It's time to separate. Trust that. Trust what's going on. Trust in this process, okay? It doesn't feel terribly brutal for you, so I don't think these are major breakups for people who have been in relationships for a very long time. This feels like maybe for those of you who've been single, you've been entertaining a few new options, and you've been dating somebody for a few months. That more applies to you. I'm feeling like for those of you single or coupled, though, do expect someone, something from the past. Something's not done. Okay, I think you get it, Leo. Let's get a little bit more clarity on this. In love, July 15th through the end of the month. Leo in love, July 15th. Of course, that just fell. All right, Leo, let me get this. Okay, Leo, fell on the floor is this: codependence. Some of what you're eclipsing out are codependent relationships. Some of these relationships aren't necessarily romantic partners, but they interfere with the relationship you have with a romantic partner. This behavior is being eclipsed out. For some of you, the behavior is being eclipsed out, but not the person. For some of you, you recognize that there's been this codependent relationship, codependent behavior, and you're getting to the core of it. Leo, I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you. This doesn't just feel like somebody being a little clingy. This feels like legitimate codependence. Okay, so if you have a partner showing up and they are the codependent partner, this came up, I think, for Gemini. I want to say this came up for Gemini in the Gemini first of the month readings for the full month. So you may have some crossover there with Gemini. How are you the enabler? Even if you really don't want to be the enabler, okay? Even if you're the enabler for like 2 seconds before you really realize what was going on. And that's what this feels like. This doesn't really feel like this has lingered super long for some of you. For others, it has, okay? Recognize your role in it so that you guys can heal. For some of you, you're not meant to end the relationship, but you have to end the space. But I am telling you, Leo, it's really beautiful. I know this is difficult. This is healable. I am absolutely feeling this is healable, especially for those of you who've been together for a long time. This is something you're going to want to work at, but it's coming up. This isn't just someone being clingy. These aren't just certain characteristics of a codependent partner. This really feels like a codependent relationship. So if you're in that, I think the light bulb has gone off. I think that you really understand what you've been dealing with and why this has probably been very draining for you. It does feel like your partner's ready to deal with this. So don't be afraid to communicate, but this does feel like it's going to come up. I will also say this. People from the past may show up, especially if this is a karmic lesson that has been lingering for quite some time. You may have some partners showing up from the past that they're still codependent. And I'm not really feeling Leo going back to past partners. But it might be beautiful for you to entertain the conversation to heal it. You might get a little bit more clarity and finally heal and cleanse this karma. So as you move forward into other relationships, this doesn't follow with you, okay? This doesn't linger with you. Codependence for sure. Just being eclipsed out. You're almost done with it, Leo. If you find that you've been the codependent partner, which I'm not getting too much energy behind that in terms of Leo being the codependent partner, recognize it as healable, okay? This isn't, I want to say this. This codependent energy isn't your fault, Leo. Something happened to somebody along the way. This could be addiction. This may not be codependent in terms of somebody necessarily being codependent with you. This could be an issue with addictions, okay? I'm definitely getting alcohol. This may be somebody who, on the surface, it looks like they're just fun and they're social, and you recognize they're going out a little bit too much. You refuse to be the enabler. You're putting that to bed, okay? You're calling them out. They heal or they can't be in your life. It does feel like you have a partner who's going to meet you there, which is beautiful. I'm just getting this message of don't blame anybody. Communicate it, but don't point fingers, and don't let anybody point fingers at you. This energy, whatever this is, it's something from somebody's childhood. It was a learned behavior. It was abuse or trauma when somebody was younger, and they really didn't know. They really didn't know that they were being codependent. So if you're feeling really drained right now and you really still love this person, just work at it, okay? But I'm going to show you this, and this is beautiful, beautiful to follow codependence, okay? It's a challenge, but if you work at this, it can be healed. If you decide to step out of relationships because of this, okay, but I do feel like if you've been in a relationship for a long time, Spirit is showing me that healing is the best route, okay? If you feel like you can't heal and your partner isn't meeting you there, you will absolutely cut ties at this time for sure, but I'm seeing more healing than separations. Center of the reading here is still passion. It feels like your passion is alive with your current partner, codependence or not. There just feels like a lot of love there, and following this passion is self-love. It feels like you have this tremendous amount of passion and love for life right now, Leo. And you feel the momentum of something major coming to a head over the next couple weeks, into August, throughout your season. It just feels like you're so passionate about this person. If that's the case, don't give up, whatever the problem is, okay? Even if it's not codependence, but you recognize it's a big enough problem. It is something that stems from somebody's childhood. I just see it being healed now. Leo, this could be you. This honestly could be your energy. And again, it doesn't have to be codependence. It does seem to be the major message coming through. But what is it that lingers from the past that could be interfering? Some old karmic issues, okay? The eclipses and Mercury retrograde are not going to let you skate by without acknowledging some of these problems. If they exist, if they're going to show up, prepare for that, especially over the next 2 weeks ahead. But I'm seeing you happy. I'm really seeing a happy, healthy resolution here. Let me tell you how strong you have to be to face something that difficult, especially something like addictions, and come out on the other side healed. And that applies to the person dealing with the addictions and the partner involved. Wow. Okay. So much strength, Leo. So much strength. I'm not feeling reconciliation so much with old partners, okay? With old partners from the past that you've had a long separation from. I'm not saying they're not going to surface. They may, and there's a very high likelihood here. But I'm seeing you, if you had to distance yourself from somebody who is being codependent, had any sort of problem with addiction, that does feel like somebody you're going to reconcile with. But they feel close to you. It feels like someone you hadn't completely closed the door on. It feels like somebody you still had communication with. You will reconcile. But I feel like for many of you, this reconciliation, it's not even so much that you guys are separated. It's just healing. This feels like it resolves. You come back together stronger than ever. There's a lot of strength here, Leo. And I really commend you. If you're holding space for a partner to heal and you're not abruptly walking away, I really commend you here because I'm feeling a tremendous amount of love, but also really balanced and really healthy, okay? It's not all self-sacrificial here. Your self-love still feels very, very intact. Just make sure you are extra conscious if you're helping a partner through an issue this serious. Make sure your self-love is still a priority. You can't lose this. You can't lose sight of this, okay? I'm seeing happiness here. You may have just stepped away from this. You may be coming into the next 2 weeks finally healed from this, okay? So you may already feel healed. You and a partner feeling healed coming into the 15th of the month. I just see a lot of happiness here. Despite that, I know that doesn't make sense for some of you, especially if you're going through it. I see a lot of love. I see passion. I'm hearing love of life. Do you see these two? You get back to this. If there was any sort of a disconnect, you get back to this. Wow, clarifying passion is soulmate. This is why you're not giving up on that person. This is why you're working through issues over the next couple of weeks. It's worth it. But I will also tell you this. For single Leos, it feels like this old karma, this codependence, or whatever that old karma is, it's been lingering for quite some time. You know what it is. It's a pattern that continuously comes up. If you're single right now, someone may try to reconcile with you just to shed some light that that karma hasn't been fully resolved yet. It doesn't mean you have to step back into it. If you've had serious distance from an ex, it doesn't feel like you should reconcile. The reconciliation feels very positive if it's somebody who you still had communication with, somewhat of a relationship with, okay, and you hadn't fully and completely separated. Does that make sense? For those of you who still have that connection intact, reconciliation feels really beautiful. But if you're single, it's important to recognize, yes, it may be a soulmate showing up for you because that's what soulmates do. They show up and they teach us lessons. You don't have to take anybody back, though, to learn the lesson. It may trigger something. The ex that calls, they may go to voicemail, and you don't necessarily have to pick up the phone and call them back. But what was their energy? What was that lesson you were supposed to learn? Did that come full circle? Did you have full circle healing with that? Are all energy cords completely cut? If the answer is no, now's a really beautiful time to get that work done. The eclipses are going to eclipse out people, situations, old karmas. There's legit energy being let go of now, and it's beautiful. And I think that's why you guys are coming into such a happy, beautiful time. There's a different phase here for you, Leo. We've been talking about it. Okay, this isn't new. This isn't new. But you guys are also not at the height of it yet. We've been talking. I've been telling you July, August. There's something about August, especially the end of August. I'm getting August again for you guys in this reading. Your season. But look what sits at the center, okay? So we have passion. We have soulmate. This is what's coming through if you're single, as long as you heal, as long as you're not going back to old experiences and having to relive old karmas. This is a beautiful soulmate. You may already be with this person, and this may be why you're so happy and so willing to heal right alongside them. Beautiful energy. But this is also who you're calling in. Also, Leo, you know, it's really nice to know that people are showing up in your life who can meet you at this level. If you have some issues, if you have some karmic things going on, it feels like you have a partner here too that will stand by you, Leo, and help you heal. That will support you. That will help you through transitions. It doesn't feel like you've had a whole lot of that in partners in the past, but there's strength. If you're single, there's strength in somebody new coming through. There's strength in you, Leo, but there's also strength in your partner now. It feels like you're more in alignment with higher vibing people, with people who are truly, truly compatible with Leo. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Leo, so we have love yourself, and we have two cards that popped to clarify the necessity to prioritize this. And these are difficult cards. We have separation and deceit. Some of these people being eclipsed out, this is their energy. If you're in committed relationships, this is probably not going to pertain to your current partner, but friendships and honestly, Leo, some family members. Where there's deceit, you have no tolerance for this. Leos are done. You're not settling anymore. You're not tolerating any bullshit. You will cut people out really quickly You will be even more fierce about this over the next couple of weeks. I want to say this came up for your Leo, your full month of July reading too. Something about, okay, you've been really fierce about cutting ties with anyone and anything that doesn't serve you anymore, but this month it may get a little bit more challenging. This may be someone that you really love. This could have been a major soulmate for you. I'm going to say this, Leo. For most of you, the separation has already occurred. If this comes up over the next couple of weeks, it's going to be hard, Leo. It's going to be. Breakups are hard. But there's something big coming in for you, and you got to clear space. For the majority of you, this feels like this has already happened. You already know who we're talking about, okay? And now it's about healing. Now it's about healing. Somebody may have made you feel a little bit dependent on them. It may not have been real codependence, but somebody who was a bit controlling. You kind of felt like you were walking on eggshells around them. I'm feeling someone who kind of called all the shots, which is really just not natural. Leo, you know you want to call the shots. I see someone in the past you kind of got lost in a situation, and this could be like deep past. You may be very happily coupled or even married right now. Someone who held space for that experience for you, okay? Where you kind of felt lost. You lost the core of who you are in it, and you had to rebuild from there. Obviously, if you're going through that now, self-love is so key and it has to be at the core. Healthy, loving thoughts, inner child work. But that person feels like someone who's trying to come back. It just feels like there's something lingering. For the majority of you, it's not even about going through major separations right now, major heartbreaks. This just feels like lingering energy that you may not realize even still exists. This person may be so far in the past that you don't realize you have any connection to it. If there are energy cords, if there are still traumas there, if there's still grief or sadness, or honestly just confusion, how could I, Leo, have lost myself in a relationship like that? It's going to surface. It may not be fully comfortable, but you know what? On the other side of healing this and dealing with this, even just acknowledging it and letting it go, look who you call in. Look at the beautiful energy that exists there. If you have old energies to anyone or anything negative, it will be cleared now as long as you're open to it. With the help of the eclipses, they will benefit you so much. This will deeply, deeply benefit your current relationships. But there's some serious healing of karmas here, Leo. If you're single, do trust that it's not necessarily going back to anything. Universe isn't necessarily guiding you back to anyone. It's just a reflection of what you still have to heal. So make the most of it. It's 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, and I'm telling you, Leo, there is something major coming. The end of the month, August, you're not even going to remember any of this existed. So if it's uncomfortable, get through it and make space. Crowning your reading is unrequited love. It's old karmic stuff, guys. It's old karmas. We expect that, right? Did you prepare for that a little bit coming into Mercury retrograde? These eclipses are intense, but they are beautiful and they are healing. So as long as you recognize how powerful these next 2 weeks can and will be, and you trust in universe and you trust in this process, you're gold. It's not going to be too brutal for you. As long as you recognize people from the past aren't showing up because you're destined to be together again necessarily, and you don't necessarily reconcile with people who were these kind of personalities in the past, but you own up to the fact that, hey, there's still some healing. I honestly think as a Leo, you're cool with that. I really think as long as you recognize that it's just old karma, it's not necessarily entertaining exes, it's just people holding space for you to see what you still need to heal and let go of. If you can go into the next couple of weeks with that perspective and understanding, you'll get through this. I don't want to say effortlessly. There's definitely some effort and some discomfort here, but it's not even going to phase you. Leo, you have so much that is so positive right now. Can you feel this energy? Do you see how important it is to cleanse and to make space? Universe is trying to change your life. Universe is changing your life. How drastically have things changed? Even just your relationship with yourself since the very beginning of the year until now. I know, Leo, your individual readings, the private readings with my clients on here, collective readings, I am so proud of Leo, and I am so happy that you guys are seeing this kind of evolution and change and blessings come in. This is just a little bit of work to do. I really think you guys will own this and run with this and do a phenomenal job. I expect nothing else from Leo to begin with, but you guys are good. I promise you do something really positive on the back end of this. Leo, if you feel like you need additional clarity, I know this is a little bit of a tougher reading than we've had recently. It's karmic. It's karmas. And it's good. Leo, you are strong. You are so strong. You and your partner are so strong together. I'm really feeling Leos strong individually, but also coupled Leos. You guys are solid. You're dealing with things together. That is such a blessing to have somebody who can meet you where you're at. Be very grateful if that person is already in your life. Expect that person to arrive if you're single. There's something about Leo really finally having that teammate, that life partner, that person that really levels up. If you want that. But honestly, Leo, I didn't feel like you guys wanted that back in December or January. But over the last couple months, it's like, wow, Leo has really opened up. It feels like you value romantic relationships and partnerships again, because you know you don't have to suffer through it, because you're committed. If I can pick up this card, committed to self-love. You have prioritized this day in and day out. You have now shaped your present and your future with so much more love, with higher vibing people and relationships. I think this is all starting to feel good. Even if this hasn't fully manifested in the physical realm yet, I think you feel this energy around you, not just in love, but in career, across the board. If there's karmas here, Leo, you can heal this. You guys will be okay over the next 2 weeks, I promise you. But just recognize the people knocking on your door, calling you out from the past, doesn't necessarily mean you have to let them all the way in. For many of you, that is just a reflection. That is just the universe saying, hey, okay, so that's what you need to heal, okay? All right, good. Good luck, Leo. That's all it is. The exception, for those of you, you're healing together. You've been in pretty constant communication, okay? It wasn't a full severing of ties. You guys are the exception. It does feel like you guys will be getting it back together if that's the case.